action, pumping and dumping, manipulate the market, flooded from the darknet, flooded from the deep web, keep it a secret. Every exchange got the nerdy brains trading on the frequent.
All right, give it a couple of seconds, folks. We're just going to make some adjustments and make sure that there's audio coming through. And actually, while we're at it, because I'll actually mention this when we talk about this. Perfect. Okay, we have the audio. Yay! Hello, everyone out there on the interwebs. My name is actually. Why is this way over here? You can't see my face because I have an O-ring. I just need to like bring it in somewhat as everything fights me here. There we go. Now you can see my face, or most of my face. Hey everyone out there on the interwebs, I am Sidepocket. That's what people refer to me on those interwebs. I am one of the two co-founders of DCG 201, formerly known as DEF CON 201, or DC 201 if you prefer. We are one of the many, many DEF CON groups that are across the nation in the United States and across the world. The 201 stands for that we are from New Jersey, or Jersey. Particularly Jersey City. And if you want to know more about us, you can go to our website, which is listed down below at, let me just double check, okay, at defcon201.org. And in fact, what I'm going to do now, because I don't need all of this, I'm going to explain why this is sort of a half crazy episode going on. But there's the link right in chat to our website at defcon201.org. We normally meet third Friday of every month. We do have information about that, but we plan on finally posting it Monday afternoon, so stay tuned tomorrow. We'll have information on that hybrid meeting. And speaking of information, if you want to keep up with us on various social media, because that's all the rage today, you can go check us out. Our two big ones probably, honestly, are our Twitter at DEFCON201NJ and on Instagram at DEFCON201. We're also that name on just DEFCON201 on GitHub, which we'll be looking at in a moment, the hostsucks.social instance of Mastodon, our .onion website, everything like that. You can go to our website to a bunch of different links, and if you want the master list for all of those social medias, we just put a link tree, we just dropped that in chat. Also, once again, we have to remind, I know a lot of people are used to us streaming also on Facebook and PeerTube. We are going to be getting that back. We have to wait to basically our meeting on the Friday. So that meeting, when we live stream, we'll be back on everything again. It's just, everything's been going crazy, just like my hair. And we'll get to that in a moment. Actually, let me just, something didn't seem to share properly. There we go, now the link shared. Sorry, the Twitch got a little weird. So anyhow, this show is called, I have two shows on here that happen every week or so. This one is called Crypto Barons, and this is the show where we look at blockchain and cryptocurrency technologies as technologies. We do get sometimes into markets to explain certain things, and we sometimes get into community stuff, which we will definitely be getting into this episode, but a lot of this stuff is, we're looking over, why is there still an echo? We're looking over, different content and figuring out, like what is this built on? How does it work? Is there code we can run? Is there test nets can we run? Can we interact with the wallets? Things like that. And that's what we cover on this show. So this is now we are very beginner friendly. A lot of times I don't even know about a lot of this stuff until I research the episode itself. But what was I getting to here? So if you're worried about, like this person's going to talk over my head with a bunch of technobabble, a lot of times it sounds like technobabble to me. I'm really good at explaining the technobabble, so stick around, and we are both going to learn together. A couple of other things right here. If you do like the content that you see on tonight's episode, or you can't remember when this show comes on, which is every second and fourth Saturday of every month, we've had non-Saturdays this month, and particularly because yesterday was a giant tragedy that I lived through that I can't forget, which was 9/11. So I decided to, in honor of that, bump this episode to Sunday. We will be resuming the second and fourth Saturdays next month in October, starting on October 9th. So stay tuned for all of that. But if you do like what you see, or you can't remember that our meeting is going to be on the 17th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., for the live stream, or you're curious about our other shows, such as my Master of Unlocking, G.I. Jack's upcoming show, Archvile, Linux Perspective, and some of the specials, which we are definitely going to be getting into the end of this month and next month, you can hit that bell, click like, share, subscribe on Twitch, DLive, or YouTube completely for free. And note on YouTube to make sure that you hit that bell and put all notifications on, because YouTube is incredibly shitty coded. And its AIs can't find its digital ass with both hands. Also, if you have any questions in chat, provided they're not dumb troll questions, let me know, because I love talking in the chat, because it gets very lonely here. I'm so lonely. But if you're also just here to learn, as I always say, keep lurking, keep learning. I love my lurkers. As long as you're enjoying yourself and engaging in this stuff the way you want to get engaged to, as long as you're not being a massive asshat, I'm perfectly happy. Maybe my hair might not be happy, because look at the disapproval it's showing here, but I'll be happy. And finally, I'm going to actually get rid of this banner above me, believe it or not, because we did hit our goal for DLive, and thank you so much for everyone out there, including our 100th follower. We are now consist of 102 followers, but we have a funny news snag that I actually did not notice previously, and so now I've removed it. I'm going to remove it on the other one as well. And that is that we now need to link to a live streaming or video platform that has over 1,000 followers. And if I remember correctly, we were exactly 14 followers away from being 1,000 on Twitch. So now I'm going to encourage people who watch on Twitch to please subscribe, so that we can update our DLive account for free and do a lot more on that platform. And who knows, we might throw some cool things over on Twitch and YouTube as well, probably following in October. So without further ado, I'm going to do two things. First of all, give me a couple of seconds AFK. You're going to hear music a bit, to be right back, because I have to go get a bottle of water, because when I stream I need to drink, and I forgot to hydrate myself, because, you know, I'm a dumb millennial. I forget to hydrate. So give me one moment. I will be right back. Alrighty then. You would thinking a bottle of water would go way faster than that, but apparently not. Opening a fresh one right here. Funny backstory about these bottles of water. This was from our city, Jersey City, had a program where you could essentially, a major pipeline broke when Hurricane Irma came in, so they had to turn off the water temporarily to the entire city in order to refix it and not have everyone drinking crappy water, like apparently what happened in Washington State during a Redskins game. So there was places where you can get free bottle of water and rehydrate yourself and things like that. So that's actually where this. Well, I'm drinking socialism water provided by Jersey City. Cheers. And speaking of screwing over the government for the will of the people, what's going to be tonight's episode about? Well, tonight's episode, basically, I'll put it this way: at the end of the streaming here, I am going to talk about what we're going to be doing in the next month or two. I have actually really exciting stuff lining up, particularly for October, to which we're going to go back to spooky themes on the blockchain again, and I think everyone will be very interested in this. So funny enough, I knew everything about going to the end of the year except for what I'd be streaming today. I was racking my brain on like what do I do, and there was some topics I thought of, some topics that seemed honestly kind of really scary because like these were topics I wanted to do, but I need to like research this stuff for like more than a week in order to do them. I'll give you one right now that will definitely be an episode for the end of the year, which is the final, because we haven't done this yet. We always keep talking about Bitcoin and blockchain cryptocurrency, but a future episode for the end of the year is going to be talking about the OG cryptocurrency Bitcoin, and in particularly how many times it's been forked and fucked, but mainly forked, and why they were forked and what made these forks different from Bitcoin, which is why basically there's no like real Bitcoin. There's like so many variations of Bitcoin, and also some of the like, because this was years ago, programming and design flaws in Bitcoin that they didn't see coming, in which I'll put it this way, Bitcoin, the decentralized currency, cryptocurrency, might end up becoming a centralized currency soon, completely by accident, or maybe by design. Who knows? But again, that's a future episode. I almost did that for today. Tonight, I don't know, we're thing in my tooth. We're going to be looking at something that I actually just uncovered just surfing around. I was looking at stuff. I was seeing what were the hot new trends, what were some interesting progress, and I ended up at this really cool cryptocurrency blockchain platform called Audius. Which, you know, I was wondering like which Audius, what Greek god is that? You know, what is Audius? Is he related to Testicles? What's going on? And I kind of dug deep on the rabbit hole for that, and it turned out that not only was there a lot more involvement than I thought of, but that there's an interesting philosophy behind it. There's so many different tech aspects behind. Keep wanting to say Audacity. That's a whole other bag of worms. On Audius, think about it. It's like a Matrix character. There's Morpheus. It's based also a Greek god name, and Audius, and I probably just summoned some sort of magical being by saying that, or like Candyman or something. But no, there's a lot of cool tech platforms behind it. There's interesting philosophy behind it. There's some honestly odd things about it that we're going to get into that might not be super kosher. And lastly, I just think this is a cool thing to cover. Also, it's on a field that we haven't really talked to yet, because we talked about VR in blockchain. We've talked about charities using blockchain and cryptocurrency. We've talked about science using blockchain, all sorts of different aspects. That's the thing. Cryptocurrencies, whether we like to or not, are an actual thing. And it more seems that as time goes on, while a lot of cryptocurrencies and shitcoins will rise and fall, the idea of blockchain technology is going to stick around, kind of in the same way how, unfortunately, the phone companies are still around. Blockchain is still going to be around, and it's going to be used. And in fact, you know, as we've seen, my weirdest favorite thing is, do you remember how much that Visa, you know, the company that, you know, Visa and MasterCard, the credit card companies, Visa, kept shitting on cryptocurrency technology a ton. And the irony now is they have their own wing into the NFT business. So that's, you know, if one of the big two centralized crediting systems and technology systems is now using blockchain tech, we're kind of in like a game over, man, kind of scenario with this. This is going to be inevitable. So one of the things that interests me is looking at blockchain and cryptocurrency technologies in various different aspects of humanity. And so what we're going to be looking at is audio, and particularly the music industry, which, you know, hackers have a very interesting relationship with, philosophy-wise. And let's see what this platform's all about. So we're going to shift over, and hopefully there's not any more like tech mistakes that I made. All right, so this is kind of the view we have today. I will put it this way. At some point, I'm going to see if I can get our Android... Oop, I forgot to turn my video on, so you can't see me. Here we go. There he is. So, that's that handsome man with the weird hair. So, I'm like my own microphone. I turned the bar off. What are you... Oh, that's what I turned off. Okay, that was weird. Um, there we go. On. I'm actually gonna go back to the first one just to make sure. Okay, so that's on. The other one was. I don't know what's going on anymore. So anyhow, this is what we're gonna be kind of looking at today. First of all, awesome website. This is made by Siricel. This is our main website. Again, we have it in chat if you want to go see it. You can look at it later. Don't go now, or if you do, open a new tab. But you know, this is we're gonna find out. Hope between Monday and Tuesday. Um, Obviously, it's not August 20th anymore. We're going to have all of this updated, including last-minute changes, because we plan on doing the hybrid meeting that we really wanted to do last month before everything went AWOL. So what are we going to be looking at today? We're going to be looking at Audius. Now, Audius has a very interesting background. Started off as this sort of like a small project in years ago. Trying to remember here. It started off in 2011 by what are the guys' names? I'm reading my notes. Ronell Rumberg and Forrest Browning. I apologize if I screwed up your names, by the way. Huge apologies. They have been super involved in the cryptocurrency scene. I'm sorry, not 2011. This was started. Well, I'll say about these guys. So they started in 2011. They have been in a lot of cryptocurrency stuff. They were one of the few first Bitcoin miners. And then in 2013, there was a huge spike. That was that huge spike in Bitcoin from 2013 to 2015. They sold all that off, made a ton of money, and then founded Lightning Labs, which might be familiar to you, and we're going to be covering in that future episode with Bitcoin, which is the company that developed the Lightning Network that Bitcoin hopelessly humps in order to not make it a giant sad albatross. So they already know a lot of their stuff. And then basically their background for this, I keep wanting to say Audacity. I freaking hate. This is gonna be the entire Audius. I think it's because so many people have bitched about Audacity, and rightfully so, that when I hear audio, and it's not just the word audio, I think of Audacity instead of Audius. So I'm still getting used to that. So basically, kind of like I was, and I have a bunch of friends on this platform still. They loved SoundCloud, and they follow a lot of their music on SoundCloud because they're not going to go over to like YouTube and Spotify and stuff. And you know, back in 2014, that was a big thing. However, something was wrong in the world. What happened is that SoundCloud eventually sold themselves to the Warner Brothers Music Group, or Warner Music Group, the major music label, and because of that, the censorship AI bots got in, and a lot of people either had their SoundClouds, there's a website, SoundClouds deleted, or they had their page, but all of a sudden, like music that people have made just completely disappeared. And it was all on all of the weird, problematic policy changes, you know, that happens in the music industry, such as the DMCA, which we have to thank Metallica for, including my absolute favorite thing of all time, the fact that Metallica was one of the most instrumental bands in creating the DMCA, which is fascinating because, I mean, you could argue that they're the metal equivalent of a pop band because they're so popular and their music's like played a lot. And don't trust me, I don't hate Metallica's music. I'm a big fan of Enter Sandman and Whom the Bell Tolls and stuff like that. But they were one of the big people pushing DMCA. And then what was it? I think it was last year. Twitch itself on its own Twitch channel brought Metallica to play, and their music got cut off their live performance because of a DMCA copyright strike. So, you know, bravo to you guys. And that's not a snark even on like centralized corporate powers to be. As we've seen with past episodes, blockchain as a concept, cryptocurrency as a concept, there is shitty people everywhere. And I'll put it this way, if you shit on Metallica for DMCA, but you like wax off Elon Musk, you are literally just trading one demon for another. So just putting it that way. And this is a big deal because even though SoundCloud, unlike Spotify, doesn't have like a subscription service, I freaking hate like most apps that Spotify does not work in a mobile browser, and if you download the mobile app, it forces you to only listen to random stuff on your playlist, and in order to actually select an individual song to play it, you have to pay for the goddamn thing. Like, that is some EA bullshit right there. But SoundCloud didn't have any of that. It was just very simple, low barrier entry. You just took your music, converted it into that file, uploaded that, got comments, they'd be mailed to you, all that stuff. And similar to how rappers work, it was just a nice gateway to, like, you put people in the music, and then you tell people, hey, you like my SoundCloud? Here's a tour. And then people would actually show up to your tour, and that's how you actually made money. It's like the golden age of the internet, where it was like there was people in tech, but the assholes weren't quite there. So it was this nice harmonious period, and this is also where hackers normally thrive. And this is very important when you talk about the background concept, and we're getting here to what Audius is, because here's a nice infograph that I'm going to post this. I got this all from this one amazing article. So as you can see here, you probably have heard this term a lot. People often mention that the music industry on average makes somewhere between $40 to $48 billion. And in this graphic, they said for last year, they made apparently $42 billion. But if you look at the way here, like, people think, oh, so that means, and that's not saying that annoying assholes like Jay-Z and stuff like that are not filthy rich. But, in kind of the same way how, like, a lot of people in cryptocurrency, honestly, are, like, average income, or they have, like, blue-collar or white-collar jobs. Not everyone's Elon Musk in cryptocurrency, even though everyone worships his dick for some reason, his tiny dick. Same thing with the music industry. There's a lot of people in music. I have friends who are in bands, and they have SoundClouds, and they're on Spotify and YouTube and things like that. But if you see how stuff is broken down in the music industry itself, you can see here the record label takes a huge share of it. The platform cost itself. So when you do Spotify, Sirius, FM, I don't even know if Napster's around or whatever, and you go to that platform and listen to music, like, over 2/3 of your money, over a third of your money is actually going to the platform, not the artist. Then there's the record label takes a big cut, the EBITDA of the distribution platform, cost of concerts, which is when they do touring, the manager takes a decent cut, the concert or platform agent, retail markup, collection fees, concert promoter, record producer. And you can see the artist, basically, if you count each one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's basically almost like, I would say, like, they have like 2 out of 10 of the entire circle there. Like, the manager almost makes as much money as they do if you are, like, in the top 5, and everyone else makes essentially more than they do, despite it being their song, their writing, their idea, and their music, whether you're a group or a solo artist or things like that. So, like, that's just a good thing that when we talk about, it's the same thing with cryptocurrency, and everyone loves to talk about cryptocurrency and Elon Musk, but most people who are in here are not Elon Musk. These are just, like, average people that you'll meet. And just like Elon Musk, there's people at the top who are these suit and tie business assholes that pump and dump coins and then says, fuck you, I got mine. They go cut and dry, and they're evil bastards. In the same way that, there's a big difference between, someone at a bar playing a guitar, having, like, USB sticks, which I've encountered, USB sticks with their music on it. It used to be CDs and cassettes back in the days, or even vinyl records. And, like, the corporate label, like Warner Brothers Music Group, that actually puts out the music, when they make the lion's share of the money. Kind of like how there's a big difference between people who have, like, their own personal blog on a web hosting thing, and Amazon Web Service, the people that basically run the entire visual browser aspect of the web, unfortunately. So I just kind of wanted to put that in there to remind everyone about, like, what the pitfalls, like, why Audius basically exists. And so these two knuckleheads basically were, in 2017, were like, you know what? We thought about, hey, let's try to use blockchain technology to essentially make a Spotify that doesn't suck. But there wasn't a technology that existed back then. Remember, but when this stuff was going down with the Warner Brothers Music Group, Ethereum existed as a beta test concept, but, like, the concept that we have now, Ethereum, where you can make a decentralized app and smart contracts, all of that did not exist back then. There wasn't that many other coins. I would say there was probably like 11 coins in total in the entire cryptocurrency world. So you didn't have the flood of shit coins coming in. Just the stuff in order to build what they wanted to build here with Audius wasn't there until about 2017, where they started to look at Ethereum and the smart contract system. They started to look at protocols like IPFS, which you can go back to the second episode in November of the last year if you want the episode where we talk about IPFS, which was one of the about all of that. But basically, the interplanetary file system, where it was originally designed for like space communications, so like it was a peer-to-peer thing where you could send files and it would guarantee to get somewhere on a decentralized network, like if you were sending like a website from Earth to the moon and vice versa, or to Mars. That's what it was originally made for, but it's recently gotten a big use for how decentralized and how programming custom platform it is. And so it's been used initially by a lot of people in blockchain who are legit activists, like who we covered in November with Mazda Coin. But now people are really starting to see the worth of it, not even just in cryptocurrency, but it's used as a general web tool, as the web, thanks to stuff like Sesta Fosta and Copa and Earnit and stuff like that, and assholes like Ben Shapiro and Gab keep cracking down and trying, and Twitch and Amazon stuff keep trying to crack down and strangle the internet until basically it's cable TV from the 90s with the illusion of choice. So having things like IPFS and other services is a big deal here. So what happened is that in 2018, they apparently went and they raised $5.5 million from various firms to start building this. And then in 2019, the coding was complete. And then last year in October, the audio token, which is what Audius uses, gained traction and was properly implemented, and it just skyrocketed. And that's basically where it is now, is it's skyrocketed. Let's look at CoinMarketCap about what they say about this. So I'm actually going to reload the page here. And again, if anyone has any questions about what's going on and what I'm blabbing about and crap like that, please let me know in chat. Otherwise, as I say, keep lurking and keep learning. So this is kind of funny because welcome to the way market caps work. Right now, it's on a bit of a down slump, but it's currently priced at $2.29. Each audio token is that worth. It's like roughly $2.50. That is not bad, especially when we've looked at various other shit coins and scams in the past. That's an actual solid thing, even though it's on a dip. As you can see, there's been periods where it has been on a dip, and you see that it's kind of on the low end spectrum, but still, keeping itself level. And then it really skyrocketed during the early parts of this month because I heard the news. And then there's a kind of a dip here, which I have a theory why it sank that low during today for a bit. And now it seems to be like kind of stabilizing with kind of little dips in between down past its own $2 poverty line. We'll see how it goes, but overall what you should know is, again, similar to some of the coins we covered last time, Audius, at least for now, seems like an actual legit thing. Anything that is not 0.0, like 0.18 zeros with a number cents worth of something, if you are above like $1, you're doing absolutely phenomenal if you're a cryptocurrency. Never mind the big rates of like, I don't know what I'm too afraid to look up what Bitcoin is right now. Again, thanks to a bunch of factors that we're going to cover in a future episode about Bitcoin. My fear with Bitcoin itself, I'm going to spoil it right here, is that Bitcoin essentially, by either on-purpose design in an insidious way or even accidental design, is eventually going to be so expensive and so unwieldy that only people like Elon Musk will be able to actually use it. That's the kind of fear there. That's why it's honestly important to look at other cryptocurrencies, even at a monetary value, because again, you don't want to limit yourself to only one structure. So, what exactly, and let me just quickly look at these other two things. Okay, we're going to get into that in a second. So what exactly is Audius? Like, what makes it kind of unique? Well, basically, Audius, in my opinion, has not only it's a lot of different things and a lot of concepts that we've covered in the previous episodes. But what makes it extremely unique, truly unique, is that one, they've blended so much stuff in the cryptocurrency world together. And what's key is they've made it work, and they've made it work so that people who are just producing music or running a test net or making an application can completely understand. So I would say that Audius is kind of right now in terms of an actual blockchain platform and like an actual tangible web resource, a true Web 3.0 resource. Is kind of like the Apple of the cryptocurrency world, in which, the thing about Apple, like, and there's things that drive me crazy about them, like the fact that they tried to sell a computer monitor stand that was basically a cheese grater on legs for nearly $1,000. The fact that their M1 chip is like fuck everybody, we are our own proprietary thing. We basically out Windows and Microsoft. Like Apple basically truly becoming the Microsoft that they've always wanted. But if there's one thing that Apple is usually really good at, is taking something that Microsoft and uh, free software organizations are trying to put out there, and then they just do it in such a intuitive way, whether it's their coding or their user interface or whatever, that like you can literally put a toddler in front of it and they get it. And that's what it seems is one of the big strengths of Audius here. Um, Audius basically is divided into, let's see, yes, proper design work, which I'm sort of glad that other aspects of the free and open source community are now starting to understand and are starting to implement. Although to me, it's more at an individual level rather than like a collective level. Not to say that there's not groups that don't work on this, like FOSDEM is doing some amazing stuff. It's more of kind of, again, it's whether it's cryptocurrency or locks or anything else, it's always the big, obvious, established stuff that muddles everything. Cryptocurrency right now, what's in the way is Elon Musk and all the people that worship him, instead of these smaller projects like the ones we've been looking at for the past couple of episodes. Things like Zero Net and stuff like that. It's the same thing in the free software world, where the obvious group I'm not going to name, to me, bogs everything down. And so that. Right. Well, I wouldn't say, yeah, I think it's been changing because essentially a lot of them are starting to become usurped, or basically people have stopped listening to them. And I don't think this will ever happen, but I kind of pray for the day when people stop listening to Elon Musk, in particular, dead honest about him. And this is not just to him, this is anyone that's in his position. There are very, very few humans and almost no one above the billionaire level who is self-made. We've seen this with Donald Trump. We've seen this with Jeff Bezos. Like, no one, they always talk about, oh, I built this all up, but like they literally started off with $1 billion at 10 years old. Like, it's that type of stuff. In fact, Elon Musk not only was already rich out the door, his family was heavily involved in the apartheid in South Africa, and that's how they made their money. So he literally built his entire stuff on blood money. And again, as soon as when people stop ignoring the fireworks, I think the better off blockchain and cryptocurrency tech will be. Yep, self-made is a myth, and it's not that you can't have your own ejection. It's that we're humans, we're social creatures, we need to interact, and that's actually again going back to what Audius wants to achieve. So how does this all work? Well, to quote Shrek, ogres have layers, onions have layers. We have layers. And there's three main layers for the Audius network that we're going to look into, both as a code, and we're going to try to use it, which is the application layer, the node layer, and the blockchain layer. Now, I already like this because it's only 3 layers, because I'm right now, when I hear the term layers in computing, I have terrible flashbacks to being in high school, learning about the, what is it called, the OSI model, where you have, the abstract layer, the application layer, and all that stuff, and it drove me insane. I had to do math on a whiteboard because they took all of our calculators away. Oh, didn't help that the dude was also a giant Mac fan. See, it comes full circle. But there's 3 layers that has all of this. So The first layer itself is the application layer, which is the Audius website and the Audius app for Android and iOS devices. Now, again, here's where this kind of makes sense, because we're going to look at the website first. Near the end of the episode, I'm going to try to get our, excuse me, I have to step away and grab something, but I'll still keep talking. I'm going to try to get our Android emulator running. Hopefully not the refrigerator running, because I'd have to go catch it. Hold on a second. But yeah, we'll try to get the actual application running on our Android emulator, but I want to kind of get through what Audius is and how it works. So we're going to kind of go look at the website right now, so you can see what I mean and what makes this different from a lot of cryptocurrency projects. So the website is at audius.co. And I'm going to put that in chat if you want to check that out. And as you can see here, really flashy, like unleash your music. Stuff slow loading in because stuff. And they've already signed on some like artists. There's a lot of artists that are on the platform, but a lot of even like bigger names starting to look at it. You have the Stafford Brothers, 3 Loud. A lot of people also that are in like electronic music, and probably the biggest person that they have is deadmau5 is on here. In fact, I was actually on his profile earlier on this. And their arguments here about what they're kind of advertising is high quality audio, free forever, and exclusive content and sort of deals. And for some reason, the half the website did not load in. So let's go in. Let's see if we can listen to some stuff. Might take a little bit. So when you load in, what you will notice once it loads in, and I noticed this, is unlike a lot of other blockchain projects or like just general open source projects, this very much this looks like a non-sucky version of Spotify, or kind of like the older version of what SoundCloud was like. It's kind of like if Spotify and SoundCloud had a baby here. Now, I'm kind of a little nervous because one of the things that I'd be very interested in is because this is all on a blockchain, what does this mean for copyright? That's something maybe one day I'll reach out, or if someone is on the Audius team can let me know, because in my opinion, from what I could think of, wouldn't like the blockchain reinforce essentially the copyright? It'd be essentially copyright another name, but it would be the artist maintaining the copyright as opposed to a company maintaining the copyright, which means it could still be abused. But again, I don't think that's what Audius is trying to go for, because, you know, they could probably do a bunch of different coding things and personal policies in. The insidiousness. It's the same reason why, honestly, I think if Twitch could play most music, they would and not care, and they wouldn't have to worry about, like, censorship bots and stuff. The real issue here is the DMCA. That's a legal thing. In the same way how, like, there's going to be a lot of people wondering why they can't what do you call it, you know, do this on the internet, or why they get this stuff kicked off, or why can't you say this word? And they're going to quickly realize that it has nothing to do with like Twitch and Amazon Web Service and stuff, and has everything to do with Sesta, Fosta, and Kappa. So, you know, once again, what's always limiting the internet has nothing to do with code and has everything to do with how much human beings suck. So that's a whole thing. So I'm kind of nervous about playing something. Obviously, we're not going to play any deadmau5 stuff, because I don't know what the copyright stuff is. But I'll just play like literally 10 seconds of something. I'm going to turn on the desktop mode just to show that it does work and it works pretty flawlessly. Let's go over here. Very loudly, I bet. So yeah, that's pretty much as much legally I can share, and I just want to show that it does work when you click on stuff and move things around. Now you're kind of maybe wondering here. All right, so if that's this is all blockchain and this is Web 3.0, why? I mean, we're not running. I don't have MetaMask installed on this browser particularly. I have it on the other one. but it's sort of like, okay, so where is the actual blockchain? Like, is where, like, usually when you go to Web 3.0 stuff, you usually need an external, at least an external web wallet, such as MetaMask or such as Protus and stuff like that, where the extension that you put in your browser will get a notification. You go in, you click on that, it creates a wallet for that, and then it talks back to the website, that sort of thing. And you notice that when we're using Audius, that was entirely through browser. We didn't even sign up or sign on through the web browser itself. Everything worked. So, like, how, why, what's going on? Well, if you probably have noticed when we look at the GitHub for this, and in fact, I will share the GitHub on here, and which I actually did not check. Oh boy, I should actually check this. Hang on. So hang on a moment. You're going to see a little bit. Actually, what I'll do is I'll go to face mode real quick, because I realized I forgot to do something on here in my setup because I'm a genius. But what the thing I forgot to do? The thing I forgot to do was that we have like a GitHub extension, and because Master of Unlocking, my lockpicking show that happens every first and third Sunday, does not use any form of like code normally. We've had an episode or two where we have looked at an open source thing, but that hasn't happened. That hasn't happened recently. I set it to a different extension, and so now I have to actually go back in and switch the extensions over soon because we have a GitHub widget for our Twitch. But I posted, if you want to look at yourself, if you're on DLive or YouTube or on Twitch right now, where their GitHub is. And yep, see, I forgot to do that. Let me activate that on panel 3. And then after I replace this and double check, make sure we have the exact profile, if you go to our GitHub, which is github.com/defcon201, and I fixed all that so I can switch back to it. I actually have two major repositories pinned up on this. So again, let's answer the question about why did we not get a prompt for like a MetaMask, why that was like all in browser. Now, I just want to note as a thing here, a lot of people have been confused because so many projects have had these like weird fail tabs put on them. And I can tell you right now by opening the new tab link, that's that weird Circles CI authentication thing that GitHub implemented that everyone's complaining about because it essentially broke GitHub. So this is still an active project. It's just because of that new thing, like a lot of projects now have to go through that and re-update everything, even if they were just like updated like yesterday, that sort of stuff. So if we look at this sort of stuff, it says Audius is a decentralized, community-owned, shared app. In fact, instead of me describing what this is, and then I'll do the code itself, I actually ripped a video from their website. So let's take a quick look at that video and see what Audius itself has to say about itself.
Music has the unique power to bring us together. From slow jams to pounding bass, we are constantly producing exciting content for our fans. But the system today continues to marginalize up-and-coming talent, rewarding the labels and other middlemen instead of the true creators. That's why we're bringing you Audius, a decentralized music streaming platform designed with artist empowerment at the forefront. Using advanced blockchain infrastructure, Audius enables hardworking artists to distribute, attribute, and monetize content, giving them new power over their music. You can engage directly with fans, build a community, and receive insights about your followers. And once you upload to the Audius decentralized network, your music, your masters, are backed up and saved forever. Our community arbitration approach resolves ownership disputes efficiently, determining fair revenue splits where your music is used. We're facilitating a closer network between artists, fans, and the music community. Faster payments, transparent distributions, and artist empowerment. It's all here. It's Audius.
Hold on, hold on. I just did that, didn't I? Yep, I just did that. So I just realized that when we were listening to music earlier, I had to turn my mic off in order for you guys to listen to it. So basically, the last half hour was me being a mime. There was no sound. So here's what we're going to do instead. I'm still going to distribute the lemons now. Literally going to do right. See, now my viewership has gone up. That's what I mean. All right. Sorry about that, everybody. I'm still getting used to the. We've been doing OBS for a year and a half now, and I'm still getting used to it. But whoever is watching on DLive right now, I am actually going to distribute the rewards right now, so I hope you enjoy those lemons. I guess you missed all of me explaining stuff, so guess what? While I'm not going to take as long, while the app for Audius loads, I am going to do a recap of all the stuff I just said. So it's not going to be as in-depth as I said it before, but that's my fault. I apologize for that. I'm gonna plead that I caught Delta weeks ago, so I'm still probably suffering from it. But the lemons have just gone out now. They're being redistributed, so whoever gets those, congratulations for that. And we're actually going to go back to, where are you? We're going to go back to, close this tab. The GitHub page, and I'm just going to do a recap of all the stuff that I just said that you couldn't hear me on. My apologies. It's weird because I was wondering where the echo was, and I thought maybe because I was futzing around that I properly audio balanced it. No, it's because I had the mic off the entire time, and I guess no one else was paying attention and told me that. So I'm going to do a quick recap. So I hope you enjoyed that last 40 minutes of me talking with nothing coming out and odd pictures you don't understand. But so what I was saying before was that so this is how it's mainly put together. Is there Audius works by 3 different layers that they call it. There's an application layer. Let me actually go back to my notes here real quick for this explanation. There is a, where are you in my notes? Because I took a lot of notes on this. An application layer, a node layer, and a blockchain layer. And as I said before, what's really unique about Audius is that when you look at the Audius protocol, when we're used to looking at the actual core chain itself, it's usually a ton of Python or a ton of Golang with a good amount of Rust, like 30% or so of Rust. And then it has little bits of everywhere else. Maybe it has a little bit of Java for like the JSON file to interface with something like a website or like a Electron-based web client that is used because they're too lazy to make their own app. What's very fascinating about Audius is the fact that, and by the way, ignore that failed logo. That's a GitHub thing that everyone's still getting used to. Like even Microsoft projects have that failed logo on there because they updated to something stupid. That most of it, that while there's a decent amount of Python and there's some Rust and some Solidity in it, it's over 50% JavaScript, and there's even a decent chunk out of it that is pure HTML with some shell code putting it together. And what I was explaining before is why is that? Well, the reason for that is because, and I'm going to say it again like how our DCG201 member Cell says it, I wish he was here so he could say it himself, is they're using a platform that they built called Hedgehog. But it's called Hedgehog, and basically, even though we just listened to the previous music without any form of like signing in, as you saw, it was all on the website, and that's exactly what Hedgehog is. Using a username and password system, I don't know about 2FA, but it's username and password system. It generates your public and private key in the browser, and then it maintains it to whatever blockchain Hedgehog is communicating with in the browser, so there's no external programs. In fact, that's why it's called Hedgehog, and that's why if you scroll down here, they cheekily put, where'd it go? They cheekily put a little like a fox icon next to here because it's literally trying to do what the reverse of MetaMask is. Because like I said, when we went to that, when we went to Audius's website, audius.co, there was no prompt. You would normally like to do a Web 3.0 interaction, which you've seen me do in the past, such as like Gitcoin, like a Gitcoin and stuff like that. MetaMask or Proteus or something would make a blinking notification. We would confirm that location, go back. This doesn't use a notification system. Everything is done through browser. You don't have to install an extension. You don't have to install a third-party application or executable. It is all done with browser. But the question is like, so then how is it able, so that's like the interface with it, how does it actually communicate back? And basically what it's doing is it's replicating the Polygon network, which we covered previously when we talked about the Mattis, formerly known as Mattis, now known as Polygon network, where it's using a modified, it used to use pure Ethereum 20, which is the NFTing token. We covered that in our NFTing episode. Technically, all the audio is NFTs. But what they've recently done is they have been using with this weird Terminator Matrix looking Terminator T1000 Matrix looking graphic, lawnmower man looking graphic here. They've recently switched over to the Solana network, which is still Ethereum based, so they can use the E20 system, but it's basically a much more faster by like 400 milliseconds and scalable blockchain system, right? So that's its background that it's using to do the smart contracts and to store the music. And what it's, and just like this graphic here, it needs to connect. It needs a communication layer in between Hedgehog and the actual Solana ERC20 nodes. And what it's using there is it's using the IPFS system. Whereas it says here, you put the, when you do a file, let's say when you upload the music for Audius, you send the music file out in IPFS, which is done entirely through browser. Again, it's not going to use the IPFS extension. It does it all through Hedgehog. It basically makes a file hash that's returned to your account, and then it's going to query the smart contract on that Solana chain. It's then going to take the file and split it into different end shares, and then use those for the encryption schemes, which I covered previously on the September last year on the September episode where we talked about actual blockchain security such as Mimblewimble and techniques and stuff like that. And then it will store those shares on the blockchain so it can recall the file back. And again, this is very interesting and unique because that also means that not only is this a decentralized network between the IPFS and the Solana decentralized chain, but let's say the government or some big entity destroys the chain itself, and so Audius technically goes down. You can actually, very similar to the Polygon network, use a snapshot of the last smart contract that you have locally to retrieve all of your audio stuff. So even when it's dead, it's not dead. It's really cool. And another positive thing about Audius is that it is backed up and sponsored by a ton of organizations. The Binance network is in it. The CoinCap network is in it. And the big one that recently has is, you know how like when you go to Instagram or TikTok, you can share music? Instagram, because they're owned by Facebook, is using Spotify, if I remember correctly, for their music system. TikTok, the zillennial app that has, to quote Trump, billions and billions and billions of users, and by the way, whether it's Biden or if it's Trump 2.0 in 2024, this is that nightmare scenario where they kill the entire network, which they won't because A, of its decentralization, and B, because of all these people supporting it, including TikTok, the zillennial app that spies on you, where we have an account on, and we're trying to return to it without spying on us. We've been figuring out those type of hacks. But seriously, all the music that people are like freaking stupid dancing to or doing like drag lip syncing to, that's what TikTok uses. It's using Audius. So that already puts Audius on the same level as Spotify, its rival, directly. And this is why when you look at the price stuff, everything jumps up and down. In fact, that's how I see it's middling, because it launched all the way back here, and then it's kind of middling around, and blah, there was that spike. That was around the time when the TikTok thing happened, where they used them for their music. There are some odd things, though, about Audius, because, again, we like to be very realistic on this show. That's actually why we don't really invite a lot of representatives from the actual people who create this stuff. We have in the past, but they've been really cool people. The reason why we don't invite them is because we look at both the good, the bad, and the odd, and this is the odd that looks like it could be bad. And so, it's hard to do that when you're interviewing someone and they can just yell at you or just kill the call or whatever. It's just, we don't want to be like CNN or Fox News where it's like, it's like, oh my God, it's terrible, these people died, let's talk to an actual murderer. Like, we're not doing that on the show for the most part. But I will point out some odd things about it, and this is like a weird tinfoil hat Alex Jones rabbit hole thing, because this might not even be true, but it is something worth noting. So people kind of noticed is that when you use the Wayback Machine on the website and stuff, and you look up the old announcements on Coinbase and stuff, there is a dude And a recap will be done in a moment. And oh, cool. So this thing actually loaded. It's just really slow. So let's see. Because right now I have the Android app up. So I'm going to search for the app on here because otherwise we'll bring that up. Yep, there it is. Okay, cool. So, and that guy is, and I apologize, like I've said in the past for screwing up names, Ranadu Lankage, who was not only, if you look at the past stuff, one of the 3 co-founders of Audius, but was the CEO for a while in the beginning. He is a Sinhalese R&B and hip-hop artist. If you don't know what Sinhalese is, that's in India. Huge, people love him there. You know, he's like the Jay-Z of India, basically. But hopefully not as terrible. And that's odd because, again, when you go to the team page, all they list here is Ronil Rumberg and Forrest Browning as the top leadership. And Renaidu is nowhere to be found on here, even as like an ex-person or an advisor or something. So that made people think, well, maybe his name's on the white paper. So when you click on the white paper, you get this. It was last updated on August 8, 2020, and it has Ronald Romberg, Seda Sahid, and Harish Nagara, which if you look at their team page, you can see them all here. There's Ronald, there's Ronell, there's Mr. Browning, and there's Harish, who's the staff engineer. So I guess what they didn't realize is that there's an amazing website called archive.org, which is run by Jason Scott and a bunch of volunteer amazing hackers who basically like when you remember when people would joke, oh, I'm going to port scan and download the entire internet. That's literally what they do at archive.org, which is why they have an amazing resource as they open bottle order number 2 of the Wayback Machine. I'm sorry, it seems like I'm speeding through this. It's literally because I said all this before, but apparently my mic was turned off because I'm like a grandpa now and I keep the lens cap on the camcorder. So I'm like recapping everything that I say really fast. And then we're going to try to launch this app, and then we're going to try to do some installing stuff, and then we will end it, and on Twitch we'll go right to stream and stuff. So people use the Wayback Machine, and they found the OG, which now I have to scroll up on, white paper. That was from September 21st, 2018, and it has the 3 previous guys, but it also lists a Shirathith Niranjana, which let's look back at the team page. Is there a Niranjana? That doesn't exist. Apparently, he was a big engineer. From what I understand, he was involved with the actual encryption stuff, but he is nowhere to be found on here. So even though we can't still find, even though we have it on old press releases, Ranadu, which sounds similar to Xanadu, Mr. Linkage, name on the old white paper, probably because, again, he was just probably maybe a business person or an investor, even though that's a big deal. We did notice, so they did chop off a name between the OG white paper and the new one. And the OG white paper has a lot of stuff. If you look at the contents, if you look on the left as introduction token model, there's a lot of stuff that aren't here anymore. Most of it is basically them building their own stuff instead of using third-party stuff that would come out after this was published. So they instead of audio tokens, they were loud tokens that were self-built. And Audius was going to be the platform, which you can see here of the Audius block. They were going to use their own Ethereum blockchain system instead of using Solana. They had 4 different middleman nodes, and then listeners, and the payment system was going to be direct. So you can tell here there wasn't any IPFS at the time. You can even see here when they describe the loud coins, it seemed like it was a more centralized thing, such as DM, like a more stable coin, because they talk about price stable. Which obviously when you look at not only the way it's designed, but Audius on the market, while it is healthy because of all the investments from TikTok and Binance and stuff like that, it's still very much up to the market. It's still a decentralized currency, a decentralized platform. So it's interesting to see it was like more centralized back then. And it has just a completely different staking and mining system than the OG one. Now, why is this kind of important besides just, oh, look at how much this project has changed? Well, what's kind of odd about this is that I'm not going to bring it up here, but if you look at their blog, there were no blog posts between September 2018 and May 2019, and there was also a gap between August 2019 and July 2020. July 2020 was when it got released, and then they did the TikTok deal, and it skyrocketed. And that's fascinating because nobody knows about that second gap, but that first gap, September 21st, 2018. Well, that was around the September that they made a post that looked like their final post, and then they just showed up in May 2019 with the current white paper that has removed one name and apparently scrubbed Ryandu and a bunch of other people from the list. So what that implies, and again, I'm not saying this happened, I'm not saying it's aliens, but aliens, is that there may have been a falling out with the staff, and also considering that the old white paper had a lot of, we can do the tech now, but we have to build it themselves, and then the later white paper uses a lot of external stuff such as Audius and IPFS and ER20 and ERC20 and stuff like that. There could be a guess to be made that maybe the OG staff really wanted to build most of this stuff as their own, like, either proprietary thing or like an open source thing that they could rely on themselves, and maybe they were mad about going to these outside, even if they were open source and free, like these sort of things. Maybe they didn't agree with the TikTok deal. Maybe that was rumblings during back then. Nobody knows, but it looks like, just because of the gaps and the white papers and who's listed and who's not, depending on the old press release, their website, and their white papers, there seemed to have been a falling out with the OG staff. So again, I'm not saying this project's completely horrible. We never really do that on the show unless you're talking about DM and to some degree Brave browser, which, by the way, Siricel, I might bring this up at the end. Siricel introduced me to a hilarious website that all it does is shit on the Brave browser, and it like talks about like all the bad stuff that they've done. Like how it's like, it's a good idea, but because of how they built this thing, it's like, eh. So, you know, there's that. Another thing, by the way, about it is that according to Audius, they claim that there are 3.5 million active users, but apparently when they did the initial airdrop, they said a lot of those tokens they had to put in their own treasury, on the foundation's treasury, because many people didn't accept that, which is odd, because if you have 5.3 million active users and you drop like 1 million coins, wouldn't that get sucked up by at least a portion of that audience, you know? I see that with every other airdrop. Every time I try to get on an airdrop, sometimes I can't even redeem this stuff because it goes that fast. I mean, look at Stella and things like that. But when you look at all the metrics for like their Instagram, their Twitter, the app downloads, which we're going to look at, I guess, in a second, and like the song listed, it more seems like that they have like 10,000 users or like 30,000 users, instead of having somewhere between 700,000 users to 3.5 million users. I don't know if they're counting their own test nets. It's just odd numbers. So there's a warning of like, you know, all the numbers, both the information on their white papers, between white papers, the date they haven't posted, and the amount of people that they say is on their platform. Like basically objects are closer than they may appear. It's just really odd. So now we're back to where we were before I had the mic muted because I'm a dumbass. And what I'm going to do now is we're going to try to do two things. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to see if we can actually load this app on our Android emulator. So let me try to find it on here. That should be, where did you go? Let's see. Where did you go? Where did you go? Where is this? Please don't tell me I have to add it back in later. Alright, so I see. That's not it. That's not it. I just want to see if maybe I renamed it. PowerShell, Parabola, Android. Not VMs. Can't be this quick. Oh, great. I'm going to have to add it, aren't I? Alright. Here we go. Alright, this is going to be fun. So I actually have to add this in now. So this is going to be a Windows capture. Because I think I, like, removed it stupidly, not thinking I would use this. And I'm actually going to go, let's see here. Oh, it is in use. So wait a minute. So where the hell did... Hold on. Did I like... Oh, here it is. There we go. All right. So that's what I'm currently looking on. Let's see if we can go... We'll go to the app itself. And again, because this emulator is stupid slow. And I actually just got a warning, encoding overloaded. So again, if this doesn't load or whatever... my apologies. We might have to cancel it if it gets like too crazy stuff. So for some reason, I thought I was doing it in the player, but I guess it wasn't. It wasn't fully. So now we're loading up the default store. I don't have Aurora installed on this. I barely use our little emulator here. So I guess while this loads, I will say again that if you like the content you see so far, you can like, share, and subscribe on Twitch, DLive, or YouTube. Particularly now on Twitch, because we have a good amount of people on DLive, but now I'm trying to get those Twitch users up to over 1,000 followers and subscribers, so that way we can do more with our DLive account. So it's like a help me, help you. It's like we're trying to boost up our Twitch in order to upgrade our DLive. So now this is, so you notice there's over 50,000 downloads. Now, if it was over 1 million downloads or 5.3 million downloads or some fraction of that, over 1 million, even over 100K. And hi, Emmer Volgas. Thank you for watching it on Twitch. We're near the end of our run, so stay tuned. But right now, we're talking about the Audius platform, and I talked about a bunch of tech and platform stuff, and we looked at bits of code. Now we're going to try to load the Android app, see if that works. But like I was saying, if it's over 1,000 downloads or even 1 million or more downloads, it would list that. So it just says 5,000K, which is not bad at all. And apparently it's had good reviews. It's just it's nowhere near that, even part of the 5.3 million on here. Let me see what he's talking about. I don't own the token. So recap here, because you just came in. And by the way, if you're interested and you want to follow, because we're trying to we're trying to get our Twitch count to over 1,000 followers, please do. It's completely for free, and you get notifications from when we stream. So this is one of my 2 shows on here. We are DCG 201, formerly known as DEF CON 201. We are a computer hacker group locally in Jersey City, New Jersey. One of the many different DEF CON groups across the nation. And we meet up third Friday of every month. This month will be on the 17th, both online and in person, starting at 5 p.m. We're going to announce more details tomorrow. And we get together and we do and talk about crazy hacks and show off projects and things like that. Ever since the world fell apart last year in March, we've been live streaming our stuff. So a bunch of our DCG 201 members have, and thank you, Emmer, for following us. We're a little bit closer. We're now like, I think, 13 people towards 1,000. So thank you so much, Emmer, for that. I keep thinking of Emmer Bergman, and I hope I'm pronouncing your username right. If not, so I apologize. But to answer your question, I don't own the token. This is a very a show that looks objectively at blockchain and cryptocurrency technologies as technologies. So we got into a bit of community and market stuff like we always do with this, but we like to look at code, run test nets, talk about the technologies that build these blockchain and decentralized app platforms and things like that. That's what the show is all about. And so right now, because we already looked at the Audius website and explained how that worked, you can check the earlier on in the episode when I'm not muted to get details on that. And I think I'm going to stream until slightly after 10. We are now going to run the app. And oh, it's German. Immer Volgas. That works. But yeah, now we are going to attempt to, as everything gets confusing, to run the actual application for this. And actually, while that is running, I'm actually going to turn on, because that's how she likes it. Okay, that was weird. Move that down. So while that is loading, because I just wanted to see if it will run, we're going to turn the browser back on in the background, and I am going to go to the GitHub page, and we're going to do the other thing, which is to see if we can boot or install the Audius client on one of the Linux subsystems that I have. So again, the emulator is running. Everything's kind of running slow now, and hopefully nothing will crash. Because that's always fun when I'm live streaming, and it's like, let's do some. That's why I preload most of the coding stuff. This was literally an episode. This is one of the few Crypto Barons episodes, because I usually pre-plan these a lot. That was kind of done like semi-last minute. And actually, because of this, let me move this over here. So while that's loading and we interact with it and stuff, I'm going to load up a Windows subsystem. And as I say here for development, they have the environments we could do is the local net, the test net, and the main net. So we're going to attempt to see if we can possibly run this code and hope that nothing crashes. So I'm going to copy pasta, and then I'm going to try to pick which one should I run. Should I run the Ubuntu subsystems, which seems to be more stable, or the Kali subsystem, which normally gives us more access? I'm going to, let's see. Let's see. So from what I understand, that's actually a good question. They have said they have exclusive artists, and to me that implies that I think artists can both host on SoundCloud, YouTube, and Audius and stuff like that. So it sounds like while they do have some people exclusively signed on, that's not an only exclusive thing. That's what I'm going on based on what I've read about the platform so far. So I've decided if I want more stability, I'll do Ubuntu, but this time we're actually going to load up Kali because I need more of a raw environment to run on, and hopefully it doesn't yell at me too much. So the first thing that I'm going to do, and this is all NPM, and actually this will be funny. So I'm actually going to bring up the subsystem here if I can find it. Okay, so I already brought it up. Actually, I need to drag it down because I have a bunch of other stuff that I have to do cleanup on later. There we go. So the fun thing is, and this is always the long part, is first we're going to update the whole system. I don't know if we're going to upgrade everything, but we'll find out. Oh, I forgot we're already in root, so it should just be... Actually, because we're in root, let's do upgrade. We're going to see how long this takes, because I haven't done this in a while. That's what she said. And this is a base subsystem, so I don't really have a password on it, so we're just going to do all of this. Because it's always smart and important to kind of do this. And while we do that, let's go back to the app here. Let's see. So in order to use the app, we do have to actually sign up for it. It does do an email. So what I'm going to do, just for strategic sheet purposes, is I'm actually going to turn off the Android one. And I'm actually going to sign up for this platform. Because I'm interested in it. I just can't run it on my own phone. So let's see. So we're going to put that in there. And again, this should all run through browser. So when I do the username and password, that should be on the browser side and not on... oh, it already actually has you already have an account signed in. Okay, so I have a better idea here. So what I'm going to do is while everything is updating and upgrading, I'm going to actually go in. I'm going to go to the Audius website, which let me just double check to make sure that I'm not doxing myself. So I'm going to turn off the browser here. So it's just the terminal now, the lovely terminal, and actually all of that already updated. And did it forgot to upgrade? Let me run that command again, because that should have did it, but I'll run it again. The worst it can do is just yell at me. Oh, I forgot to write upgrade. I'm done. Great. There we go. So now while that is all going on, blah, it should happen honestly pretty fast. I'm going to go to the website here. I'm actually going to go into Audius, and we're going to make an account on there. Except you folks are not going to be able to see it because I don't want to... Honestly, that information out there shouldn't really be anything, but I don't want to ever, to me it's never... I mean, there are situations where you can be too paranoid and it comes full circle and bites you in the ass, but in terms of this type of stuff, you can't be too paranoid. So I'm going to actually go to the Audius website and sign up for it and make an account. And hopefully we won't need an email activation for this. We're going to find out, because if I do that, I'm doing that on my phone. Because I don't want to go in and log for the email and all that crazy stuff. I'm just making sure everything's done through browser, so... And this is going to be my own personal thing. So I'm just going to double check here. Yep, it's just terminal, so I am safe. Although I'm pretty sure there's probably like asshat groups out there that are like listening to the keyboard sounds in like 3-dimensional audio and trying to figure out what I'm typing and stuff like that. For some reason the button doesn't clicked on the button, but nothing's happening. Okay, this is fascinating. So I'm going to try something. I'm actually going to turn my uBlock off on their sign-up page, and I'm going to try this again, and I'm going to see how this works. And actually, while that happens, I'm going to go in the background and grab my phone that you can't see. And I'm going to, just in case I do get like an email prompt of like, you have to click here to confirm your email. So let's see, because what I'm hoping is not going to happen, because then we will definitely not be able to do the app on stream, is, yeah, I've been having this problem lately, and it's not very happy, is most of the stuff, because it's easier to capture on OBS, is using Firefox. And one of the things that's been scaring the piss out of me is that I've had a couple of instances where I try to log into something and I'm unable to log into something or sign up, and which is what I'm about to do now, so cross your fingers the stream doesn't die. And unfortunately, I have to go through a Chrome variant in order to get it running, especially default Google Chrome, which is a problem because default Google Chrome, uh, default Google Chrome um, just is all ugh. Like it like eats like I'm on like a gamer supercomputer thing right now, and I shit you not when I say that Chrome, even on this monster NVIDIA GeForce GTX system, this is like the second most powerful computer we have here at DCG 201. That's a laptop. That's not a like a desktop giant brick. It literally eats like nearly 50% of like its RAM and CPU resources because it's freaking Google. Remember when like we all languished in that like Firefox wasn't fully featured and like what do you call it? Internet Explorer was the bane of all existence, and like Google Chrome was this, oh my god, it's this lightweight client. It does everything you need it to do, and like this is gonna be like the future of like stuff, and like the running joke, and it still is that you use Internet Explorer to download Google Chrome. Now it's like you use Google Chrome to download Firefox or like ungoogled Chrome or something that's not Google Chrome. That's not from Google. So it's like come full circle where Google used to be, ha ha ha, people only use Internet Explorer to download our browser, and now it's like, fuck, now we're Internet Explorer for the millennial age. It freaking sucks, man. CPU resources, the amount of spying, it's just freaking terrible. So yeah, I think it's still going because upgrading takes forever. It's probably gonna be most of the time. This also sucks because I should have been cooking by now and be hungry, and there's still a ton of people streaming. So that's why exactly. So now we're gonna try signing up again, and I'm gonna see if it was a Chrome thing, or if it's just my internet slow because I'm live streaming. It's a Chrome thing. I did this on multiple Firefox variants. It did not work. I went to default Google Chrome, and now it works. I hate life. All right, so now we're going to put in a password that hopefully all of you can't see. And now I'm worried because something just happened where I think the stream dipped slightly. Can you all hear me out there? I hope everything's going fine. This is so incredibly stupid. All right, so the password is there. Interesting. This is really interesting. I wonder if I can do this step later so it actually has a thing with the account. Oh boy, what is going on here? Hold on. I think the stream, let me double check on my phone. I think the stream itself is okay because it has not dipped into red yet. Because again, this is running, I'm running Chrome right now, unfortunately. So I'm going to check the stream on a different platform because right now the YouTube I have is screwing up, but it might just because of this. So I think the stream's running fine, but because it hasn't yelled at me yet. Hopefully it won't. But like I was saying before, so they have a thing where, let's see, you can link one of your profiles. But my whole thing, either using Instagram or Twitter. But my curiousness is that I don't know if you can choose to link your profiles later, because I would normally do that, but I have a completely different login for both Instagram and Twitter. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to click on the other option. I'd rather fill out my profile manually. Hopefully, you'll be able to fill out your profile later. Oh, you have to do all this other stuff. All right, so here's an idea. I'm going to do something really dangerous when it comes to Chrome. Okay, y'all ready for this? This is going to be hilarious. I am going to log into one of these, log off, and then finish the rest of the profile. This should be really fun. And again, I'm like doing 3 things at once. We're updating, and then we are checking the stream, and then we are trying to do this login all at the same time. It's pretty hectic out there. So I'll switch accounts here, log into an existing account. Hopefully this accepts. Let's see if the stream's running. All right, so it's switched over, so I should be able to do this properly because... Okay. So that's all set up on there, and then I'll forget about that later. Okay, so now that I've gone into that, we're going back to this thing. I'm going to complete the sign up using the small pop-up window. And then we will go back to the application. So basically it seems like what's going on is the stream is just jumping all over the place. So I don't know if that is a Kali thing or a Chrome thing. We're going to find out soon. Because on my end it's fine and they're saying no dropped frames or anything, but I have noticed that the stream itself is going nuts. Again, this is exactly why I preload. So it wants me to do all this other crazy shit. Let's see if I can get that out of the way. Let's see here. What can I choose? Wants me to put a profile image, a display name, and a handle, man. Because I don't have an identity without a handle. So I'll just use you, and then my display name will be my handle. And then hopefully, this should be very interesting. Hopefully no one has taken this name. We're going to find out now. Actually, maybe that should be capitalized. Nah, I'll just do everything all lowercase. Alright, let's see if someone has already taken this username. Apparently not. Cool, I have the first one with this username. That's always nice when I go to a platform. Oh god, Skrillex is... Like literally, I'm going to switch back to the browser here. Take down the... Where'd the terminal go? So, oh, I forgot I'm on Chrome. Never mind. So let's turn off the browser again. I have to do a screen share. At least they have a dedicated thing for electronics. I guess I'll go to that. All they have is featured. So let's see. Skrillex popped up again. Is there anyone that I recognize here? Kind of. There's Benzi. I don't know if he's related to Benzi Bonzi or not. I guess Deadmau5. Let me look. Let's see. I'm really hungry right now. I should be cooking. Choose Ivy Labs. And let's choose let's see, either Rez or Zed's dead. Let's choose Zed's dead. You know what? Let's just choose Rez. Let's just choose those 3 because I'm not clicking on Skrillex. And we'll hit continue. Oh, this is hilarious. Apparently, they offered a QR code. Actually, I'm going to try this with my own phone because I don't know if it's going to go to the app page or if this is a sign-in. It just generated a QR code that you can scan. I'm assuming it brings up the app on your app page, but we're about to find out. See, there's a redirect Audius. I'm going to open the link. That's really clever because I have a preview when I scan in QR codes, so I don't open anything malicious, but this actually goes to its own redirect. So we're going to find out. Yep, it goes to the Play Store to download the app, so that was useless. So we're going to continue. Close all of these. So now they're finishing up a few things. I think this is generating like the private key and stuff. I'm not saving the password on this browser. See, what's weird is that, like, all the other streams are going nuts. This is great because I'm going to, about, soon as this loads, I'm closing this goddamn browser. And I also believe that Kali is probably screwing up most of this too. We're going to find out. Because I hope I'm not going to get, like, a warning now. Because I've had this happen where I get a warning, like, after everything screws up. So we're going to find out. Oh, why is this taking forever? Ah! Come on. Well, I can totally tell we're on Ethereum because, well, I guess it's faster than Bitcoin. It's still slow. Still being goddamn slow. Let me tell you. This is going to be a fun race between my account being set up and the current 15% progress on the Kali instance here. It's literally to the point where I'm thinking of just, since I already updated, I'm thinking of canceling the Kali thing just to see if everything will run smoother. In fact, you know what? Because this is just a subsystem, I'm literally just going to do that. So I just killed that. And now let's, we'll load up Kali again as a blank slate, because we already updated. That should honestly be enough. I'm just like an old person, so I like instinctively do update and upgrade every time I do it. And again, if nothing works, we'll go over to the Ubuntu subsystem and I'll just update for that. Wow, this is really taking forever with the browser thing. So again, while we do that, let's while we wait for these two things to properly run, let's turn on the browser again, and we're going to turn off the terminal. And let's go back to, let's kill this. I'm just going to kill other tabs I don't need right now. Maybe this was why. Maybe this was like the website was just bogging everything down. Let's kill this guy. We're on a rampage. We're just killing everybody right now, aren't we? Up, and now the browser's being slow. Again, I blame Chrome for this. This is why I don't use any Chrome-based browser when we stream, or I try not to, because of crap like this. Let's see. All right, so it's back, I think. Let's kill you. Just killing all the graphically intense tabs. So let's go do this. So I'm going to go back up, and we're going to copy pasta the client code here. And we're going to go into Kali, and hopefully I should be able... Oops. Forgot to put in the commands first. I'm going to clone this over. Shouldn't be too much. Shouldn't be too much. Let's put me on a thing where I can put my phone down. Alright, so that's clone. Oh, I'm dumb. Here's the other thing I forgot to do, because, again, I need to eat food. Now I feel complete. This is the awesome blockchain that G.I. Jack always lends me each episode. He put it right here. He got it to me early and everything. I asked him. He immediately replied. And, of course, I forget to put it on. Maybe this is why my brain wasn't working, because when I do this show, pretty much, like, this is like, it's like reverse kryptonite, where it's like I'm useless. It's like I'm like Popeye. I don't do good on the show unless I'm wearing the actual blockchain. So let's try to do this. We're gonna CD into. So let's see what's all in here. So we have everything in here, script, source code, all of that. All right. So according to the website, and let me bring back the terminal again. We just cloned everything in here, and we have a little bit of a window down here I can show you. Let's see. So first of all, we need to do the install, and hopefully that will work. Hopefully this won't crash the entire machine. Okay, so now it's doing its thing. My account is still building. Watch. As soon as I stop live streaming, I bet that's when the account's going to go through. I bet you anything that's when that's going to happen. I am convinced that that's why that's happening. It's honestly probably because, where am I here? yeah, between the, like, trying to build this thing and Google, I don't think we're going to get that far. So, unfortunately, I think that's where we're going to have to end the episode. Usually, like we do on Crypto Barons, we tried to do a code thing, and it didn't work. But what we're going to do instead now is we're going to, I'm still going to create the account, by the way, is we're going to go on to Twitch. And if you're on Twitch, stay tuned because I'm going to find, oh, sorry, I went to the wrong thing here. If you're on Twitch, where I'm going to find a cool stream to raid. Sorry, I went to the exact wrong thing. So now the program's freaking out. There we go. So yeah, if you're on Twitch, stay tuned because right now I'm literally heading on to Twitch and we're going to find a cool thing to raid, provided that, again, it seems like I'm going to close the emulator here. It also might be the emulator. Let's find out if that's the case. I'm gonna laugh if it's the emulator because there's gonna be three things. It's either the fact that we're using npm to install this thing, the emulator, or Google. I blame all three. Yeah, I just killed the emulator and Google is still going on forever. But yeah, I'm going to go on to Twitch right now. Seems to be running a bit smoother now that the emulator's gone. And we're going to go find a person to raid, so I hope you stay tuned to that person. Thank you for doing this kind of very slapdash Crypto Barons episode. I learned a lot doing this in the past day and a half of researching this platform of Audius. I hope you enjoyed it too. Again, I'm creating an account for it right now. Maybe I'll show the app on the next episode, but you know, it's definitely even with the weird, unscrupulous stuff going on with that platform, I do appreciate that they're really honestly trying to do an attempt to give artists back in control of their music and to profit from their music, and I support that because I have a lot of artist friends, and I think that's awesome. I think just in the age of DMCA, like, we need to do a lot more, like, legal stuff on countries' ends between, particularly between China, the United States, and the European Union. And also, again, the fact that they have those weird gaps and they don't publicly disclose if they had, like, why certain members left and seeming to have left or what their exact numbers are is a little iffy. But it'll be interesting to see this platform grow in the future, especially with crazy partnerships such as TikTok and Binance and Coinbase and Coin Exchange and stuff investing in them. So basically, in the next couple of minutes, we're going to go raid another channel. I'm already looking at a couple of here. Seems like everyone is currently on live streaming right now. Okay, that's a cool one here. That person's on again. Let's see. Ooh. I know exactly who we're going to raid, I believe. Well, this is going to be really cool. I'm really excited to see how they're going to react to this raid when we do it. And, yeah, again, thank you for all watching Crypto Barons. This episode we learned Audius. It's a really cool look into it. I'm going to tell a little bit about the future of the show here. So, literally, that's why this episode was so because the next month, everything's going to go nuts. So I can tell you right now. September 9th, we are going to look at a unscrupulous, purportedly privacy platform called Utopia that has its own token called Krypton. And I have never heard anyone talking out about this. When I look things up, there is very little information on them besides their own information that they purport out. I have no idea if this is like a secret spy thing or a virus or a legit thing, which I doubt it. So we're actually going to run it into a reinforced VM that I personally built, and we're going to find out what this platform is. And I'll show you the weird stuff that I found on the internet about it. So, like, October's going to be spooky, so this is the Spooky Is It Ransomware episode. Because we're not going to know. We're going to find out live on air. And then on the 23rd of October, we are going to go back to Crypto Zombies. And we're going to look at Solidus. We're going to look at other smart contracting platforms and learn about them by coding more stuff in Crypto Zombies. So that's October. Again, we're going to look at Solana in a future episode. There's also been certain blockchain and cryptocurrency platforms that I actually want to interview the people involved. So that's going to be really cool. And it's just going to be a really wild time. And I'll put it this way. Cross your fingers that on the 29th, we actually might have a Crypto Baron special to do. But I still have to talk back and forth between these group of people. It's in Jersey City itself. But we might have a really cool episode for that. Cross your fingers. We also, I'm looking into an episode where we can actually physically look into the hardware and software of a Bitcoin ATM machine. I particularly found a very interesting one that just cropped up in Jersey City that I'm talking to the company about. And if they say yes and send a representative, this is going to be a weird, fun time. So yeah, October is going to be Utopia is it ransomware on the 9th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then on the 23rd, we're going to go back to Crypto Zombies at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's the 9th and 23rd. Our meeting's going to be on the 17th. That's going to be hybrid. We're going to be live streaming huge chunks of it. We're going to be attempting to meet again in person. We're going to hopefully announce details tomorrow because I'm sending the last rounds of emails for that. And also, a few days after, on the 19th, will be my episode of Master of Unlocking. I don't know what that's going to have in it, but I'll announce something soon. And there might be an Arch Via Linux perspective this Thursday. Who knows? But I'll let G.I. Jack, our co-founder, who also provided this amazing blockchain that I forgot to wear the entire episode, announce that all himself. So anyhow,